Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar, brought to you by Bloke in a Bar. Grab a case of Bloke this week for Origin. It is the perfect beer to watch Origin. Obviously, we've got our Bloke hats. You can get them from bloke.shop. We also have the great Tom and Eddie and Tom from Hello Sport, and are looking fucking sharp, boys.
Thank you so much.
Do you like these, mate?
Mate, they are actually, if I'm being honest, and I
think you can be honest.
It's hard. It's hurting me to do this, but they actually are fucking cool.
Thank you so much. Yeah, these are the new bounced out trackies for when you've done a number on yourself over the weekend. Basically, on a Sunday, all you need is trackies, KFC, or the fast food of your choice, but KFC for us in a rom-com.
Yeah.
But we felt like the trackie was missing. No one had a tracksuit they could rely on, depend on, and so we created it.
It's obviously the tracksuit pant hoodie combo. Because sometimes you need to hide away from the world, particularly when you're bounced out, which is our lingo for hungover. It's probably a cross between like a velour and a terry toweling is
High
how
fashion.
I describe it.
Okay.
High fashion, gorgeous. You can wear it down to the shops. You can wear it on the couch. You could probably wear it out to dinner. I mean, it's versatile.
It is versatile. I'll give you that.
Christenings, weddings.
For whatever a Sunday is going to throw at you and you're hungover, this bad boy will deliver.
Even jogging in the cold, play sport.
Oh, you
mate.
could jog in this. You feel like Rocky Balboa running in this.
Shadow boxing as you run. The whole neighbourhood's following.
And I can see a bit of Rocky Balboa in the both of you.
Yeah, definitely.
I said, well, it's funny you should say that. I see a fair bit of Rocky in myself.
Absolutely. Now, if you do want to get your hands on some of these, Hello Sport Instagram, link in bio.
Yep.
Or just hellosport.com.au. Is that the website?
That's it.
There you go. Easy.
Under merch,
So-
pretty simple.
Pre-sale now available. Closes in about 7 to 10 days.
Yeah.
So make sure to go to Hello Sports Instagram and go to the link or your website, and you can pre-sale. You can buy one. And yeah, guys, if you want to support podcasts and the footy media you like, this is the way to do it. Grab a fucking hoodie. But boys, we've got so much news. We've got Hot Boys going into Origin. We've got Townsend being linked to the Warriors. We've got George Williams coming out with a bit of a across the pond. Johnny Bateman last year, when you're across the pond, it feels like it's fucking gloves are off.
Yeah. It's like you can talk shit from a distance. I didn't realise he was already back over the pond.
I think he is.
So he's gone back over there and then started talking a bit of shit.
Do you reckon Johnny was like, look, mate, you're across the pond. You can fucking do whatever you want.
Well, if you're going to talk shit to Ricky, you need to be at least however many thousand kilometres that is away.
Well, you need to be across the pond.
Yeah. There has to be
Or
a
at
pond
least
between
on the
you
other
and Ricky.
side of the country. I wouldn't take Ricky on in close quarters.
No.
Fuck that.
Because if you were in West Australia saying you started going, "Oh, Ricky's a fuckwit," like he'd be on the flight over to Perth before you finish saying the sentence, and he'd come and find you and fuck you up.
Oh, I think so.
He'd fucking run there if he had to.
Yeah, he would.
There's no flights. We're grounded flights
He's
for
got a
some
motor on
unknown
him.
reason. Yeah, he'd run there to feed you.
Even if the borders are closed, I reckon Ricky's getting an exemption to get through.
He's got footwork.
He's got great footwork. He can step. He can evade. He's
Border
very
security guys going, "Oh yes."
The only thing I'd be, that's the only reason they're yelling from across the pond is Ricky, I don't know if many listeners know this, doesn't love water.
It's true. Well, he can't swim.
He can't swim.
He doesn't have any buoyancy.
I mean, he's in Canberra.
Like
That
Eddie.
is inland. One of the only inland cities we really do have, if my
Yeah.
geography is correct, which
No, it's
probably
correct.
isn't.
It's the only inland town in the country.
Well, it's the only inland city,
Yeah.
unless you want to include Dubbo,
Or
which is
Alice
a small
Springs.
city. Well, they're towns.
Yeah, I'd consider them.
I know
towns.
what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's the capital for one.
How about
Inland.
this? The only inland capital.
Only inland capital.
Are we getting somewhere now?
Yeah. I think so. We're
Look,
starting to
that's
work this
common
out.
ground. That's common
Yeah.
ground.
There we go. Look, people helping people.
You know what? I think when you're in those fucking trackies, you're working at a higher level.
Yeah, yeah.
I do feel sharper.
I'm revving higher.
And as a team too, it's like a team outfit.
Yeah, I'm loving that. But Ricky can't swim. His muscles are too dense. He sinks
He sinks.
like a stone.
Yeah.
So
What do you think? Like, if he goes to ScoMo for an exemption to get across, because he's not going to do the because there's a chance that he's still going to be angry enough to fly to England. I think. In my
I don't
opinion.
think Ricky cools down on a flight. I think he might even get angry as the
I
flight
don't think
goes on.
Ricky cools down
But what's
even
the-
after the season
What's
either.
the chat to the ScoMo? What do you think the exemption says? Like, oh, look, ScoMo, one of me players just fucking said his opinion, and I'm filthy. How do you reckon he gets across?
Give me an exemption or I'll flog you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's pretty clear cut,
This is the
isn't
only
it?
way. This is Ricky negotiation tactics 101. Let me do it or I bash you.
Yeah. You want to get a beat down, bro? Because I'll give you one.
ScoMo can. I'd reckon.
And ScoMo's only right next door. He'll waddle over to the lodge and give him one.
That's true.
He can get to the lodge piss easy.
Lodge is, how far would the lodge be from Ricky's place?
I think it'd probably.
Okay.
They might even have an adjoining backyard.
There's
Who
no
knows?
water between it, so it's not a long distance. That's for sure.
Ricky can cover that distance comfortably.
Absolutely. So chances, what do you reckon it's paying for Ricky to fly over to England, do a radio sit down with BBC, which George did, to set the record straight?
Well, I mean, there's no point staying in the country to watch his team play. So, I mean, I reckon he could. It could be soon. He might already be on the flight.
He could go under the guise of recruiting,
More Poms.
Yeah,
Yes.
more Poms, which he's had tremendous success with in the past.
Yep.
Well, and
obviously,
fucking
lately things have fallen in a bit of a heap, but that's not to say that he can't revive the old successes, Tom.
that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Go over there looking for Poms and looking for Poms to bash.
What a trip.
What a trip.
Work trip. Write that whole thing off.
You can write that whole thing off.
Yeah, that is a tax write-off.
That's a tax write-off.
Bashed my former player.
Yeah.
Bash George Williams recruited a couple of up-and-coming front rowers.
Who didn't want to get bashed.
No, exactly. Threatened some young 15-year-olds on the rise.
Look, you're in here to get bashed, but for a different reason. It's you can sign with me or you'll get bashed.
Or you get bashed.
But I guess George Williams was, you're getting bashed because you said that about me.
And you left.
Now, this is a quote in question. So he went on the radio and he said he loved his time with the Raiders. He also has a lot of respect for Ricky as a coach, and he loved Ricky. He just said that another hard part that happened was with Ricky Stewart, the Raiders head coach. For a long time, I couldn't speak more highly of him. Everything from when I first got there, even up to the first conversations we had about homesickness. When it actually came to leaving, everything took a turn, really. The talks and texts went back and forth. I was asking politely to leave, and at the end of the season, I wasn't just saying I'm going to shoot off. I had some discussions. I was trying to see what we'd put in place. I'm just sad that the relationship is pretty sour. I've not spoken to him since the release. He was brilliant, and I'll never forget that. But when things went bad, he turned his back on me. It's sad.
Yes.
Really, because they clearly did have a really good relationship, and then I feel that obviously Ricky has been torn between his relationship with George and his love for the club, and clearly the love for the club has trumped.
Yeah.
And he's taken it personally, as in
Well, I mean,
you're letting down the club.
George is never going to be loved more than the club when the club is the Raiders,
Absolutely.
right? Like Ricky's always going to be Raiders first, George second, if that's the case. But I mean, look, it's a sad turn of events, but I mean, fuck, it's footy, right? It's what happens. He still speaks kind of nicely about Ricky there, but he sort of says he's a dog. So it's
He's just saying when times were good, the relationship was good, and then when it was bad, it was bad.
But I mean, how much we can all relate to that? We've been in relationships.
Mate,
When times are good, they're great. They're
100%.
and you go, you know what? Look, we just didn't work out.
You'd say that of your ex-missus. You go,
Would.
mate, when it was good, it was fucking good, and then when it was bad, it was bad,
You know,
and then we
she
break
was-
up.
She was.
What
pets
he's
went
saying
missing.
is not too dissimilar to
Young
many
love.
breakups,
Yeah.
young loves, old loves in general. You know,
Yeah.
that's
No,
just your cut and dry
It's almost
breakup.
a summer romance. Everything's good at the start. It's exciting. It's new. It's fresh.
fling.
It's a fling. It was a fling.
Well, how long was George there for? 18 months.
one season and a bit,
about
really.
a season and a half.
That was a fling.
It's a fling.
It's a
But I
fling.
mean, that is enough time to create strong feelings for each other. though.
Absolutely. You can fall in love during a fling.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? The bonds can.
You can fall in love in a summer, Tom.
Yeah.
In a night.
In a night. Yeah. Let alone 18 months.
Yeah.
So I think Ricky's had his heart broken. I
Yeah.
think that's why he's turned his back on George.
Is Ricky like now in his room just listening to Coldplay? You know what I mean?
trying to fix you as
fix
a good,
you.
you know,
You know,
Trying to fix the Raiders. He thought
Exactly.
that he was the.
well,
thought it
Coldplay
was-
trying to fix him trying to fix the Raiders. There's a lot of fixing going on.
And
Yeah.
I mean, because I feel like that's the only way you deal with a breakup, right? Coldplay, sad music,
Head in the
bed.
pillow, plenty of chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
And
Tears.
So you reckon Ricky's a Coldplay man? Maybe not an Usher. There's a bit of breezy.
Well, Usher, you could let it burn, maybe.
Let it
from
burn.
Usher.
Let it burn could work for him.
Let it burn could work, but
Actually,
I mean,
but that is also a lot of fire warnings in Canberra because Rady nearly
Ricky's-
exploded last year.
That's the problem as well. That's very bad.
And then he could go into Chernobyl meltdown hearing about fire.
We don't want that. We need him to cool down. We need the reactors,
Yes.
Ricky's reactors, to be fucking cool.
Icebox Amarian. There's a song called Icebox Amarian.
Icebox. I'm cool with that.
Deep R&B song, but it's about having a icebox where your heart used to be.
There you go. So he's got to do
what
that.
about Adele for Ricky?
Ooh, we could have had it all.
Because she's English.
Wow. That's
I
a
like
great...
that.
You know what? We should make a Ricky breakup playlist.
Yes, let's make a.
We could have had it all, and that's just
Adele.
Ricky just screaming at a poster of George Williams.
I love Ricky's breakup playlist.
Yeah. It's powerful.
Oh, wow. I mean, it would be powerful,
mate.
especially seeing him belting that out in
Yeah,
the room.
absolutely.
A couple of skewies deep.
Yeah.
Okay,
more
now
than a couple.
we'll get to the Broncos a bit later because I don't want people to think that we just talk about Broncos straight away.
Which we don't.
Which we actually don't if you look at the stats. But anyway, Townsend, actually, you know what? We'll talk about Queensland. Reece Walsh, after just 7 games, has been selected. The first part of this is, what are your thoughts on that? Try to take away your New South Wales arrogance. Yes. And then we'll get into the second part.
That's impossible, but I do what you're saying. Look, I'd want to just quote one of New South Wales godfathers and say that it's the most disgraceful selection I've ever seen.
We were going to get to that.
It's the most disgraceful selection I've ever seen in State of Origin history. Here is a young 18-year-old boy, hot, world at his feet, Queensland. Fuck, we've got a literal shotgun wound to the chest. How are we going to fix it? Oh, let's bring this fucking 7-game hot boy in and put all the pressure in the world on him. So
do you think Greens daddles by the hotness?
I think there's every chance. Like, when in doubt, go hot. That's an age-old saying. And we may well be seeing that here. Paul Green using an old rugby league adage. Yeah. Now, the flip side of it is, he's fucking young. Like, let's just point out for a second the fact that the Broncos let an Origin player go. He was a Bronco. He was a Bronco like 8 weeks ago.
One of the youngest Origin players in history.
Yeah. Like, that's pretty fucked up. Like, on the face of it, you go, yeah, fuck. He's young, 7 games. Like, he's had great games for the Warriors. But the other side of it is like, well, is there anyone else?
That's what I mean.
Have you got anyone else?
Bruh, you put Valentine Holmes and you leave him at fullback and keep Xavier Coates on the wing, or bring in Ronaldo.
But then they're not changing anything.
Yeah, but...
Bro, we got towed 50-6.
But that's exactly the point, though. You get towed 56, and now he's meant to be the fucking...
We need points, clearly. Think about it. We need points.
You need defence.
No, we need points.
Well, you're going
to score 20 points no matter what. No matter what we do in defence.
Centers.
Yeah, but we don't have any centres. But that shows you how fucking... Even Gagai and Capewell, like, they aren't normally centres. Like, Gagai's played wing in Origin.
Capewell's a back rower.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm saying is we need points. And Reece Walsh he's got, like, a bunch of try assists. He's a better ball player than Holmes. Holmes is also a fantastic winger that can shore up our edge defence. So I think that, like, when you look at the options, Ponga was going to bring those points to us. Now he's gone. Brimo is also injured. Like, what other fullback is there other than...
Yeah, but would you have said this? Would you have said this 8 weeks ago? Like, if I said to you, for example, that Ponga was out and you got fucking towed up in game 1 and you'd be searching for points, who would you bring in? You would never have said Reece Walsh.
Tell me who you'd replace him with.
I would keep Valentine Holmes out.
Okay, who would you put on the wing?
I would keep Xavier Coates there, or I would bring in your Ronaldo.
But Xavier Coates literally got dropped because he played poorly.
I know, but
Felt also played poorly.
How the fuck does Felt stay there with the greatest respect? Xavier Coates at least is like on the rise, Throbber on the rise.
Yeah, but that's how poorly
they didn't use him very well though. They didn't give him an opportunity to thrive.
But he dropped balls and let tries. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, but I feel like those are like fucking. He doesn't like he can catch a ball. He can like give him another shot.
But he's been doing. But the only problem is it's not just one-off game. Like, he's been struggling at club too.
That's true. I don't watch a lot of the
if Reece plays like the way he's been playing the last 5 weeks, you could go, okay, it makes sense.
Listen, like, I think it'd be sick if he kills.
He's been playing fucking unbelievably.
Again,
but Origin football, at least to my eye, it's a completely different game.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm not saying he's going to kill it, but what I'm saying is, it would be awesome. But, like, what are the real, like, Brimson's injured, Ponga's injured. We're so, like, our whole back line is, we've got no depth there. We've got 2 non-centres there, and then we've got a winger Felt that, struggled in game 1, and a lot of people thought that he wouldn't be there game 2. We've got our other winger that got dropped. Do you know what I mean? And then the only other guy we've got at the moment that's up to that level-ish is Mulatalo, but he's only been back for 2 games. That's how little depth we have.
Would you put your hand up?
No, because I wouldn't want to embarrass myself. I had some dreams later at night and thought about that glorious comeback.
Yeah.
Then I thought about the gut hanging over my
If you were still playing right now, you could have been in Origin contention.
Yeah, I mean, look.
You'd be at fullback.
You'd be playing fullback for the fucking Maroons.
Look, we might win.
I think you'd have a better shot. Can I say this? And look, and this truthfully isn't a let's turn this into a Manly chat, but on the Manly... when Manly played the Titans... actually, no. Completely take that back. I was thinking that Jaden fucking Campbell was... I got the 2 players confused. Tommy Turbo, though. jumped over that small fullback to score a try. He did it to Ponga in 2019.
Were you thinking that Jaden Campbell was Reece Walsh?
Got him confused. Both hot. Both
Jaden
both
Campbell,
small.
throbber.
But again, I'm
Big
happy
fan.
to steer it back to Origin chat and away from Manly.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that we
the
got
way
there.
my mind goes.
We got it out of the way.
Basically, it was a tangent that was not needed.
No, it was completely
But
unnecessary.
But in reality,
But it's
it
kind
was
of a
needed
point.
because you need to talk about Manly.
I'm
You know
now
what I mean?
relaxed.
Okay, that's
Before
good.
I was like on a knife's edge. I'm now
Okay.
just sort of like released the pressure valve.
Look, I'm glad that we got it off your chest. That's the main thing.
Thanks
of
so
this
much.
whole
But like, mate, if I'm a Queenslander, I'm nervous about Reece playing back there because he's young, he's green,
I agree.
He's not very big. Like he's got thoroughbreds running at him, like
agree.
Tommy and Latrell, and I'm like, it's tough.
I'm with you.
Tedesco.
How tall is he? Is he that tall?
Nah, he's he'd be 82
So you got
kilos.
Trell and Tommy, high balls galore, just yoinking balls out of
But
the
like,
air.
okay, so you got Trell and Tommy, like those, 100%. But you've already scored 50 on us with, you know what I mean? With the other person that
Are
we
you
had
saying you're concerned it might be more this time?
No. I'm just saying we needed to find some kind of answers when we didn't have any points in us in game one. We do know that in attack at least, his skill set attack-wise is going to be good enough to compete, in my opinion. But yes, you are right. The concern is the high balls. He's going to be getting bombed all night. That's the job of the defensive line to make sure that they check any man running through as much as they can without giving away penalties.
How do you feel about the edge defence?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have, both me and Cam Smithy, I call him Smithy because we're mates.
Smitty,
We're mates.
Smitty.
But we both agreed that we would have put Kurt Capewell in the middle. We would have put him where he's supposed to be and got a specialist centre in the centre.
To defend as a centre.
Defend as a centre. Even if he's not that good in attack, at least he's defended in a centre regularly. The only problem is Latrell and Tommy, they are once in a generation in the same. It's like what happened with Queensland. We had once in a generation in 4 or 5
When was that?
positions.
Sorry?
I think it was probably about 15, 13 years.
What are you on about?
straight.
No recollection.
Oh,
actually,
okay,
no.
sorry.
I can remember from like 2018 onwards.
Short memories.
So it's like,
linked
it's
to my
sort of
sense
like,
of smell.
it's 2-1, going to be 3-1.
Yeah, I think so.
something like that.
History of Origin.
Okay. Well, in a world where we did have that, that's the hard thing about a guy like Latrell and about a guy like Tommy is that it doesn't matter who you put there unless you've got even the best centre like a Joey Manu, when he played Australia and New Zealand against Latrell, he got one on Latrell, but then Latrell got one on him. So even a guy like Manu, who's considered the best centre in the game by a lot of people, struggles with a guy like Latrell.
But don't you think then, like, sure, it doesn't matter who you put on him, but it kind of matters a little bit. Like, put a back rower or put, as you said, a specialist centre. Like, Tommy will still, and Trell will still do their thing, but like, fucking put someone on there who plays the position.
Oh, I agree. I think.
Who would you have gone with?
That's the hard thing. You know, you're probably only looking at like Chambers and then put Ronaldo on the wing because they've played together at club. The only problem is the way that the Cowboys got in the back in the game was 2 poor reads from Chambers on the weekend. Yes, Chambers has been there and done it before, but I think that his performance on the weekend probably pumped the brakes on it. Where like, you know what, like fuck, like he shot out of the line and missed twice, which got Cowboys back in the game. Maybe it's not a good idea to put him into Origin after being away for so long. I don't know what the answer is.
But a guy that's played 7 NRL games.
But he's at fullback. It's different.
Right. But I mean,
what I mean?
like, can't you take a chance
Don't
with
take a chance. Take
with
a
a guy
chance.
who's like a fucking Origin veteran who's done it, and maybe he rises to the occasion in the fucking.
And always played pretty well.
Well, yes, but Latrell has had his number since coming into Origin.
That's true. But couldn't you? Well, isn't Trell on Gagai and have, or is you can't have centers playing?
I'm not sure. Maybe either or. But I guess
Tommy
it's
would
not like
slow things
Chambers
up.
is in really good form.
No,
you know what I mean?
no.
So it's hard to put a player he's just come back to league. It's not killing it. Yes, he has done it all before, but you've got a guy like Kurt Capewell who is in really good form and a big body. Maybe he makes adjustments and he gets the job done. The hard thing is, I don't think anyone. And you also got to remember, he put a move on Tommy and scored.
Fucking oath he did.
Yeah.
Hell of a move.
And so, look, I think that a bit of adjustment and hopefully, gets the job done. But it's going to be hard.
We'll see where we go.
It's going to be hard. But with Reece, I just think that I understand. If you put him in when we had Ponga available, that is absolute insanity. I just think that we need a bit of magic. We need something special because New South Wales are so dominant right now that we're just going to need a bit of magic.
Yeah. And what I do like about him is like when you hear everyone I've heard speak about him who like knows him or has something to do with him, Reece Walsh, it's like apparently he's just fucking super confident. Like you kind of need that, you know, you believe in yourself, a bit of like arrogance-ish.
That young
but like,
swag.
Yes. To be able to walk into an Origin situation and not be overawed.
Yeah.
So that I think obviously is
He
like
played the Storm in his
works in his
debut.
favour.
Played the Storm in his debut. NRL debut. He'd only been at the Warriors for maybe 2 weeks.
Where was he before that?
He was at the Broncos.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what was he doing there?
He was on loan.
Oh, okay, right.
Sorry, yes, sweet.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's what's crazy. It's like we let go of the second least experienced Origin player of all time. That's what we let go of. And you know what? We also found out it wasn't even due to a big contract. It was just because Kevy thought that he needed some more time in Queensland Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. That's good. You all right? You okay? You all right?
Just, mate,
That's
honest.
cool.
Hang in there, mate. Look, it's going to be a long decade. But you got to keep fighting.
Yeah.
You got to keep turning up every day.
That's the frustrating
You
thing
wake
is-
up, you turn off the alarm, and you get into it.
Kick your legs and just try keep the head above
Well, I know where Kevy's coming from, but we didn't have a fullback. Like, I'd understand if we had, like, for example, when the Cowboys lost Ponga, you understood because Lachlan Coote, they just won a premiership with him. You know what I mean? So you can lose your young superstars because you've got a premiership winning fullback there.
Yeah.
We literally didn't even have a specialist fullback there. And we were the wooden spoon already. So, like, you telling me we couldn't just put him in for 3-4 weeks, get him to re-sign, and then put him in Queensland?
Do you
Cup?
ever like wake up and go like, oh God, I wish, like, do you just sort of like have those, like, I wish it was the start of the season again and I could go and like change time? Like a time
How do you
machine?
feel about Kevy's comments around you winning a comp in the next 3 years?
I think it's fucking true.
Seemed like a pretty short period to me.
Yeah, look, it's ambitious.
Yeah.
But you don't want someone that's not ambitious. I think Benny Ikin is. Look, we'll get into the.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into
So
it.
Benny Ikin has been announced head of football for the Brisbane Broncos. I think it's a fantastic move. He's also quit his job of 10 years as host of the NRL 360. Now, look, there's a huge push online for the hosts of Hello Sport to take over the role. Has there been any talk between you and Fox? Or
Look, there's been some discussions.
There's been some early discussions.
High level?
Groundswell of a support.
Paulo, look, they've come over with scones and tea cake and tried to broker deals, but we just sort of want to hear them out, I suppose, see what they want to offer.
We also
and go
want to
from
be like both sitting right where Ben sat. So like we don't want to kick Kenty out. We don't want to kick Hoops and Buzz out. We want to sit me and him like me and Eddie share a mic.
Yes.
And then we just host the other the rest of the panel.
And who better than us to wrangle a couple of old bulls? And,
Yeah, you know what I mean. You need young bulls to wrangle old bulls to whip them into line and cut them off. We're going to have a button whenever they start dribbling.
Yeah,
whenever,
a dribble button.
Whenever Buzz starts dribbling, it's just going to, and it just cuts his mic off, and then someone comes and wipes dribble off his face.
And get like the
Someone
holes,
comes out,
the holes in the floor, and you just like eject him out of the whole
his
thing.
seat falls back.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you, mate.
But he actually just falls onto the floor, and then you've just got to watch him get back up into his seat.
So you say
If he can.
Yeah.
But sometimes he wouldn't be able to,
No.
you'd imagine.
Ken, who's your source for that? And do you have multiple sources? And if he says no, see ya.
Bang. Bullshit.
Look, if we don't like his answer, then he's either cut off,
Or
the dribble's removed, or he's flipped over.
we tip his chair over.
Pretty simple. That's our approach. That's our approach
That's
anyway.
our approach.
Look,
We're saying,
Fox is mulling it over.
Okay.
Mulling it
Have
over.
you put that forward to them?
Of course.
Yeah. The response online's been humbling.
Yeah.
It's been an outpour, an absolute outpour of
50, 60, 70, 80,000 signatures, I think.
That's in less than 24 hours. So tag Fox League just somewhere.
anywhere,
Anyway,
randomly.
just tag Fox League anywhere and
Even
tell
on
them.
They'll know what you mean.
Even graffiti on the
Yeah,
street.
dude, tag it on a wall.
Tag it on a wall.
Tag their building in Artarmon.
Yeah, at Fox League, Hello Sport underneath.
Yeah.
Yep. If you do that, you'll go a long way to helping us realise our dreams.
Posting NRL 360.
That'll bring the ratings back. I tell you what.
Well, fuck, they need us. They need us.
If anything, you're
Look,
on the
they
driver's
need a
seat.
bit of youth. They keep going older and older and older.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't work it out. Who's on there now? Ray Hadley. I'm
Yes.
like, Jesus Christ.
They really are going older
going
and
older.
older.
They're going for the set top box generation now. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, mate, I know what you mean.
Dial up.
Like
internet.
I don't think NRL 360 is on KO. If you log in, it's like it's
Have you got a set top
They just
box?
know.
yeah, no, you've got to be over 65 to watch this program. Otherwise, you'll be offended.
Now, Benny Ikin, he's the head of football for the Broncos. I think this is actually a fantastic decision by the Broncos. He's a great footy mind. He was around when the Broncos were doing really well. But also, I think because he's been outside the bubble, he knows he's not disillusioned by our past glory. You know, he knows how dire the situation is. And he says a lot of the right things. He's got a big name in the game. He's got influence. I think players would respond really well to him. I actually had him on my podcast, The Locker Room, years and years ago. And he did have this kind of like very calming, respectful, but also like just a good aura about him. You know, some people you sit around and they just have a very good aura to be around. And I just think a lot of players will react to that.
He speaks very well, and when you hear, like even when he was going for the CEO job last year, and he was almost auditioning every night he was on NRL 360, and just the way he spoke, you were like, this guy seems like he knows what he's talking about. He seems like he's going in with clear ideas and like how to turn the club around. So I mean, it seems like it's a good decision.
We need something.
So head of football will run all the sort of backroom decisions.
Is he a Phil Gould type when he's at
that
Penrith?
sort of thing?
Is that what Phil was at Penrith?
Yeah, similar to Phil Gould, like, you know, putting the systems in place, the youth, the development, recruitment, coaching staff. He'll handle all that. They also had a guy called Dean Benton at the club that reviewed everything. And Dean Benton is now head of performance for Wallabies, but he came into the Broncos in 2005, the end of 2005 for 2006 when we won the premiership, and everyone hated his guts, but he was fucking so good at what he did. He was a full-blown, like, what's the word?
Prick?
No, I don't want to use...
Sorry.
No, like, I don't want to use the he was a hard ass, like, but he got the results, and he just brought in all these great systems, so he knows exactly what he's doing. So it's really good that he's back involved with the club in some capacity.
So he's back from Wallabies?
Well, he reviewed everything. I'm not sure if he's... But at least, you know, he knows his shit, like, so good. And he was also a guy that, like, you know, we didn't like him. We hated him, but we also respected him.
What do you mean? What did he do?
Well, he's just a punish.
Was he a trainer, though? Or like,
he's a head of performance.
Right, okay.
So he walked in and, like, we're going, how you going, Dino, mate? He'd be like, I'm not your mate. Just keep walking.
Oh, okay.
And he'd be like, bruh, just relax. But in the end, it got it a premiership. But also, he did mellow eventually. He just did that at the start to get authority. And actually, I'd consider him, if I saw him, I'd be friends. Like, he's actually a funny, really good bloke. Like, really good bloke. I huge respect for him. But I think it's also an example of you don't actually have to like the people that you're getting coached by.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, especially head of performance and that. So that is really good that he's back involved. And he is, like, the top tier of setting standards as well.
How would it work from, like, a decision-making perspective? Let's say, for argument's sake, Ben Ikin was head of football when you let Reece Walsh go, or Kevy apparently did. Like, would he override that? Would he be in discussions with Kevy around a decision like that? Would, like, they work in unison?
Yeah, look, I think it's tough to say now because Kevy Walsh would clearly have more pull then than he does now because of the current situation we're in.
Does a decision like that for Kevy, like when letting him go and he's admitted it was him, within the club now, they're like...
He's admitted it was...
He admitted it was a bad decision, but do they now go like, you don't get to make decisions anymore? Like, does
really.
he lose a bit of his decision-making power to like to the higher-ups?
I think he loses a little bit, because you've got to look at, you know, and it's not just him. It's, look, we lost Fafita, obviously Sam Walker earlier. We let McCullough go. He's now back in Origin. You know, we didn't let
Hunt.
Ben Hunt's in Origin as well.
Yeah. You guys don't have a player in Origin.
Yeah, no, that's
first time ever.
You've
got a New South Wales.
Well, what's crazy is when you look at the team, I spoke about this in the earlier podcast, is you've actually got Jai Arrow debuted at Origin in Broncos. Dane Gagai debuted at the Broncos. Reece Walsh was at the Broncos. Andrew McCullough was a Broncos loyalist. Ben Hunt was a Broncos loyalist. So you've actually got 5 or 6 guys in there that were Broncos. That's what's the shocking reality of where we are as a club.
Yeah.
So look, I think Ben Ikin's a great pick.
Yep.
And I think that they're going to form a much more structured approach that is similar to what the Storm did, because Donahue is the Storm CEO and he's just come in, and that's why you're seeing a lot of like big decisions happening, because he's got the review back from Dean Benton, and that's now they're making these big decisions. So the good thing is at least we've got a plan forward.
What about the yarn about like the players? Like the player revolt on Kevy, is that just horse shit, or do you think?
I think if it's true or not true, it doesn't matter. The fact that it's a story in the paper means someone in a position of power trying to call something is telling the journo to do that.
Like if you see, when I saw it, I was like, that is the last thing the Broncos need.
What does a player revolt look like?
Well, it's not really a revolt, but it's just like the players.
Are they like is it a key player in the team starting to yarn to other players going, I don't know about this Kevy bloke, we should try and fuck him off? Is that what it is?
Yeah, pretty much. Not try and fuck him off. No, I've never heard players go, oh, we should try and get rid of him. But it's more like internally of like, bro, like, I don't know what my job is on the game. He told me one thing and then I'm doing this. And then last week he said I could be released. And then this week he said he's not. It starts like that. And then the conversations become louder. And then when you're not winning, it becomes louder. Whereas if you're winning, it just smooths everything over. Now, I don't know if it's true. It may not. Kevy said it's not true. So maybe it's not true. The problem is that a journalist with strong long-term connections with the Broncos released the story. And journos sit on stuff all the time. When people let's say the Broncos, they have a lot of power in Brisbane. They used to, at least. And they have a journo there that is a close connection to them. And the journo has this scoop or whatever. The journo will usually go to the club, allegedly, this is all allegedly, and say, look, I got this. We're going to run it or whatever. The club can go, look, mate, can you please not run that story? But we'll take care of you. We'll give you some scoops later. And it's just that's how a lot of journalists build their relationship. You guys, it's just, that's what journalists do. Certain clubs have got certain journalists that have good relationships, and if you burn the club, they just never let you do interviews with the boys, usually.
What was it like for you as a player with the journalists? Like, was there anyone, like, were there journalists you were told to be wary of, or was there anything where you're like, is this guy trying to grease me? Or, like, were there players you knew within the team that would leak shit and, like, you couldn't, you had to be aware of what you said around certain players, or would you know if someone was doing it and you're like, what the fuck?
No, I was such a low shit kicker that I had no say in any of that. You know what I mean? We had such a strong senior playing group that I wasn't, privy to all those conversations. Right. Like they were the big dogs, and if they said fucking do this, that, and the next thing, whatever they said, we did. I remember we had a mad Monday. They came back to our house, like forced their way into our house, trashed the joint, and we had to pay for it. Like, literally, we had no money. I think I'd played like 3 games of NRL, and we got called into Wayne Bennett's office. He blew up at us, even though he knew that what happened. And then we had to pay for everything. But because we were the younger players, we didn't snitch on them. We just copped it because we're not fucking dogs.
Yeah,
and so I was like, you know what?
Well, how much damage was it?
Oh, I think it was about 10 grand.
Holy shit.
10 grand?
It was wild.
Dude, how close do you get to snitching?
No, we never do that. Never. Bro, they threw everything in our house in the pool.
Holy
just because they wanted to.
Yeah.
Like bikes that cost a lot of money. They smashed a few pots out the front of the house.
Was this an apartment or a house?
It's a house.
I was going to say,
they strewed like protein, like powder everywhere, like just fucking.
When this is going on and you're a young guy, are you going like, at this point I may as well embrace this chaos because, this is like, if I try and fight it, I'm just going to have an even worse time? Or are you like, what the fuck are you doing?
No, you just cop it. You don't do that.
But are you having fun, or are you like, this is fun?
No, I just had a shoulder reconstruction, so I couldn't really. God. So I was in my bedroom.
What, hiding?
Pretty much.
Door locked.
And then the cops came, and then
were you boys drinking, and then they showed up to drink with you, and then trash your house, or you were like in bed sleeping, and they just turned up?
I was already in bed, but Darius was with them. And so I think it was the year they won the comp. If it wasn't that year, it was 2007. And Darius, all the boys brought back because we're the young boys. We don't have any responsibilities. Like our house, you know what I mean? Like it is the smart place
families.
to go. Yeah. There's no families, nothing to worry about. And it's a good place to have a beer. And so they come in and just went absolutely nuts. And I woke up the next morning and everything was in the pool. Like, and then there was protein powder everywhere. There was smashed pots at the front, like big pots, not little pots, like these big, massive fucking pots with these like little palm trees in it. Cops got called. A taxi driver got sprayed down with water.
What, for being lippy?
No, just because he was just like, everyone was loose. He got out as this Indian cabbie and he was like yelling and that, and then fucking one of the boys ran out and they was like, get out of here, man. And then cops came around, and like when you walk in to our house, like that's the door, and there's a wall there, and then the lounge room is there, and this would have been at like 4 a.m, and people were yelling like, fuck off, coppers, you dogs, rah rah.
Oh my God.
And it was just like wild, but they knew like it was. Yeah, it was.
Surely the coppers turn a blind eye, especially when it was after 06.
They did. They Bronx on the prowl.
After 06. Let the boys play.
After 06, we literally got away with anything. We got away with murder in Brisbane.
Who'd you kill?
Can't say.
That's fair.
But yeah, so we had to pay for the fucking. It was. But good times. Good times.
Great times.
That's
Great
what
times.
culture is, though.
That's
boys.
That's what's
we
building.
need to get back to that.
That's good team culture.
You know what? The Broncos senior players need to go around and trash young boys' house.
Yeah.
Start throwing shit in the pool again.
Absolutely.
That'll bring back the rings.
Problem is that they're all too
100%.
young at the Broncos. What you actually need to do is get those old boys from your night who we know can rip and tear and get them to go around to the entire, like to every house on the current roster of the Broncos and fuck up all their houses.
You know what's crazy is remember the yarn how I think it was Talis was saying the old boys were filthy that the race day got cancelled. That's why they were filthy. They were about to go around and trash everyone's house.
And they knew that that's what was required. You guys fucking miss every opportunity to turn the club around.
Yeah.
You need to get old boys to come and fuck up everyone's house.
I don't know if it's been said before, but you need to embrace the old boys and bring them back into the fold because that's where the fucking premierships
That's
are.
how you do it. Not enough old boy rhetoric.
Me and
at the
Tom have been
Broncos.
saying this fucking all season. We're
Yeah.
like, you ignore the old boys at your own peril.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Give them a crack.
Give them a go. Get the old boys back.
Yeah. So
Benny Ikin will bring them back.
Yeah.
That we do know.
He's an old boy.
He's an old boy. Old
is
boys
old.
recognise old boys, Tom.
I don't know whether any player has finished their rugby league career and stopped looking like a rugby league player more. Like, do you know what I mean?
He
does
looks
not
like
look like
he looks
ever
like he
played
works
rugby
for
league.
H&R Block.
Yes, he does.
does your taxes.
That's
in
it.
the middle of those little fucking setups they have in the middle of shopping centres.
Looks like if you
Yeah,
threw
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got a news agency, you go and see Ben Ikin.
If you threw a ball at him, it looks like he'd just go through his hands and break his glasses. I don't know how he played rugby league.
He literally looks like he sits in the middle of like the halls of shopping centres and has a stress ball.
Yes, definitely.
And just looks like depressed,
Yes.
life's shit, and does people taxes.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
And likes wearing checkered shirts.
Yeah.
He loves wearing checkered
He's
shirts.
the king of checkered shirts.
King of
he
the
should
check.
come out with his own line.
Yeah, check by Ben.
Checkered by
Checkered
Benny
Ben
Ikin.
Ikin.
Let me check your football department.
There you go.
With my checkered
Checks
shirt.
and balances by Benny
By
Ikin.
Benny Ikin, yeah.
Mate, he is the king of a checkered shirt, honestly.
Yeah. The ads would be so bland in missionary position. It's just got to be him
Yeah,
just
yeah.
typing at a desk
Well,
in a checkered shirt.
Ben Ikin invented missionary position.
Yeah, he
so-
was the first guy to do it.
Did you know that?
I think one of his plays when he played was missionary.
The missionary position.
Yeah, it was just a short line of a front rower.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
truck and nut pretty much.
That's all it was.
Well,
That's all he does.
that's all you need to do.
Simple.
Simple.
Truck
Keep it
nut in the
simple,
bedroom and on the field.
And on the field.
Look, you'll bring the Broncos back to playing simple football. Football that's...
Missionary rugby
Yeah,
league.
missionary rugby league. That's what you miss.
Look, that's the basics. You need, that's your fucking...
It's a bit
Until
too
you-
devil-may-care up there for
Until
my
you
liking.
can do the basics.
Yeah.
There's no point in trying other positions. You know
Kick,
what I mean?
pass, tackle.
Keep it missionary, and then you can start to try
Run.
some funky shit.
So Project Missionary is his...
Yep.
That's what...
It
Well,
has
look.
to be. It has to be.
So he's going to walk in on day one. He was like, boys, welcome to Project Missionary.
Yeah.
and it's just him laying face down
Here,
on the
put a
bench.
check. We already wear checkered shirts, but
Yes.
the players will play in checks next
Yeah, the
season.
New Jersey will be checking.
Yep.
Surely.
And it'll just be about making things as vanilla as possible.
Yeah.
He's a
It's
vanilla
easy to
man.
understand vanilla. You went from all the fucking trimmings with Seabold, and everyone was like, Jesus Christ, this is an overload. Like
many-
all the toppings are falling off this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Back to vanilla.
Too kinky with Seabold.
Way too kinky.
He
He
is
was
a
like,
kinky
he
man.
wanted to put things in all kinds of
All
holes.
kinds of like ball gags. And
Yeah.
Can't be
You're
doing
like,
that.
mate, I'm full to the brim here. I'm
No.
out of par.
No.
And
You
you're
need
doing that to a young bloke's inexperienced in the bedroom.
That's it.
It's going to rattle you.
Mate,
can't
your
be
first,
giving
your
an
first time on the
18-year-old a
job and you
ball
got
gag.
fucking 5 or 6 bloody anal beads in you. How's that going to go? Not well. Back to basics.
You know,
That's Ben Ikin's
Fuck.
mantra.
do you think in the review it said, key point, don't put anal beads in 18-year-olds?
Yeah, it has to have.
Well.
I mean, I'm sure.
Well, I mean,
will
we're
have-
making assumptions, obviously, but you'd fucking hope so.
You'd hope so. Benny goes up there and goes, "What's this? What is going on here? No anal beads."
Yeah,
You
put
gotta
them
be over-
away.
You got to be over 25
Yeah,
to use an
minimum.
anal bead.
Minimum, surely.
Darren wasn't using one until he was 27, 28, I don't think.
I don't think so.
I can confirm.
I don't think he was using one at fullback. It wasn't until he went to 5'8".
Yeah, 5'8 is-
Even a couple of years into
Once
that.
he moved to 5'8", I think that was when the beads got to work out.
What would you rather do, tackle front rolls or cop 8 anal beads?
Mate, that's a silly question. Give me the 8 beads
Yeah.
in a heartbeat.
Depends who you are.
That's true. That's true.
If you're big
Well, if you ask
Tano,
Sieves, he's a big... He's a big...
Seems a bead man.
And we saw Tony with... he liked to mix things up in the bedroom.
Yes.
Big Tony. Big Tony.
For fucking oath he did.
So maybe that was, Seabold saying, mate, you need to mix it up.
You need to mix it up a bit more. You need to. There's not enough going on here.
possibly.
Whereas
Look,
Ben-
we can speculate all day.
Project Missionary, the Broncos are a go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great chat. That's great chat. the club that I love and brought me so much.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Well,
Okay.
Jack, we're talking to a Bronco. That's why it's resonating.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll go quickly back to the Reece Walsh. Do you agree, really, no jokes aside, with Phil Gould saying it's disgraceful to say?
Yes.
Is that hyperbolic?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think it's because he's head of football essentially at the Warriors and he's, may have a little bit of bias towards it?
I'd say that actually makes it more believable.
Phil trades in hyperbole. Like that's the currency in which he trades.
Yeah.
And I just think that
Disgraceful.
it's just a little bit more hyperbole
Yeah.
from Phil. I mean, he said disgraceful, probably the first word that came out of his mouth. He's like, I'm rolling with it.
But also, what was funny was he goes,
You know what I
even if he kills it, it's still disgraceful.
Yeah, so he just like backs himself.
He's like, I've got. There's no way I can be wrong here. Basically, this is
when
the
he
worst
said that-
decision ever. And even if he fucking kills it, it's still the worst decision ever.
How
And
does
you're
that
like,
make
well,
sense? That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make perfect sense.
Comes
Phil.
out,
That doesn't check
free
out.
tries this. He's going to come back and say, you know what? I still thought I was disgraceful. Wins a series for us.
Yeah, still
Disgraceful.
too soon. Disgraceful. I loved it.
Absolutely disgraceful. I love the delivery. I'm like,
yeah.
holy shit.
It was
I can listen to
dramatic.
this all
Yeah.
day.
It was
so dramatic. So dramatic.
It's like there's no precedent for young, good players to play Origin.
Well, they said on the fucking show, they were like, I mean, you brought Nathan in. Not the same thing. Nathan was 20. And you're like, well, okay. All right, Phil.
Brad Fittler, one of the great Origin players, played, I think, 12 games before anything. And I'm not saying Reece is going to be Brad Fittler, but you can't argue that Reece Walsh has had a massive impact in his 7 games.
Yes. And that at some point, some young throbbers debut early and they either sink or they swim. But like,
And on top of that, we have a bunch of injuries. It's not like, he's taken Ponga's spot or anyone else's. But anyway,
It's certainly not disgraceful.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. There
it's
are
a
some-
Hail Mary, sure. but
Disgraceful
it's-
is a certain like bracket of behaviours, I think, that falls under the banner of disgraceful. We've all disgraced ourselves from time to time. I don't know if that's what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, now on to the New South Wales side. They have chosen Finucane is going to be, I think, his 19th man. Coruscant is 18th man again. Junior Paulo has been moved to front row instead of Jake Trbojevic, and Crichton has been brought onto the bench. What do you think about that?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. It's a change in game 1 tactics where Jake is like, a nimble front rower that can fucking
Do it all.
Whereas Junior Paulo is like, he is as advertised. He's a big fucker who just trucks nut and chucks it with purpose.
And a bit of pizzazz though too.
He can pizzazz. He can ball play.
He's got enough pizzazz. I think Crichton had
offload.
to come in to the side.
Yes.
Had to come in. If that's off the bench, then so be it.
Well, that's fine. I mean, if
you
Jake
still got
had-
Payne Haas off the bench as well.
If
He can
Jake
come
had
and make.
stayed, it would have been Liam Martin, you assume, would have gone for Crichton. But it's like Crichton, as you say, was like an essential
It's crazy.
inclusion.
You've got the best back row in the comp coming off the bench. That's incredible. It's similar to what was happening at the Queensland during their dominance that you don't remember. We had guys like Cooper Cronk, Billy Slater, you know what I mean? Michael Morgan for a bit, DCE when he was going okay, winning Prems. You know what I mean? They were coming off the bench. So you're getting a similar kind of sense. Obviously not close to that yet. Maybe one day it will be. But you know what I mean? You're getting these high quality players. You're getting the Dally M winner at 14. That shows how much depth you've got right now.
Deep as fuck.
Deep as fuck.
Mariana
And also,
Trench.
people discussing should Crichton come in at all.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
And if he had been left out, like it put his 18th man, I think a lot of people would have understood that.
yeah.
I mean, it's only because it's hard to change a side after a 50, however many points it was, drubbing, 50 to nothing.
50 to 6.
50 to 6.
Can't remember.
No.
You know what's crazy is like we nearly didn't even score. You know what I mean? Like when you think about it, we probably shouldn't have.
Well, considering Tommy doesn't fuck up ever, so it's almost like it was a statistical anomaly that it even happened.
But I like it. I like the
it.
side. I like Junior out there ripping and tearing from the outset. Haas comes on to, he comes on later in the game. Crichton comes on. Would you play him through the middle or on the edge?
I think you probably play him through the middle, but it just depends how the game's going. So, for example, last week, a few weeks ago, Jake Trbojevic only got like 27 minutes. So I think he had a game plan of like, look, I'm just going to leave Jake on there to get through the shit work, and if we break him, we'll just pull him off and then put, you know what I mean? So it's going to be, it just depends on how the game goes. He may need Crichton's, maybe the game you guys are under the pump and you need a fit guy like Crichton in the middle to just get through a bunch of work. Yeah. Maybe Paulo gets a bit fatigued because he's a bigger body. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he's used. Now, what do you think about how convinced are you now? Because like you guys were pretty much Nathan Cleary haters.
Incorrect.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct. That's incorrect. That's wildly incorrect.
It's called constructive criticism, Darren. And
Look, we've got Nathan's ear, and all we said was, Nath, the state needs you to step up and rip and tear. That's all we said.
Yeah, okay.
That's all it was. And he has.
Paraphrasing, I guess.
Look, he has, and he's...
We're always believers,
Look,
put it that way.
we're always believers, and it's not... We're not the sort of people that release private conversations, but basically our conversations with Nathan. And Nathan, he sent us a DM after the game. Was just like, he just said thank you. That was it. It was class. He just said thank you.
I mean,
And it was like, there you go.
And we might have got a hamper.
Yeah, we got a hamper.
Okay.
Which again, all class, lovely hamper. But it was just, he knew that he hadn't done enough for the state. He just sort of been there for a couple of years, with the greatest respect. He had one good game. And then this last game, he bled the Tommy knocker.
Yep.
Copped him in the fucking face, and now he's Origin cloth.
Okay, so are you convinced, in all seriousness, do you think that, lock him in, he's our long-term New South Wales half?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, there's certainly no one else that I would be saying like is the...
Yeah.
No one knocking down my door.
When you're looking at him rip and tear in club footy, it's like he's the man. He's the man.
Yeah, literally.
How old is he, 23?
23.
Yeah. So we've got him for like the next 20 years.
Crazy.
And don't they say halves...
Oh, it's so many years to develop.
They don't...
Mate, he doesn't have anal beads yet if he's at the Broncos.
That's what I'm saying. I remember Joey said once, I think it was Joe, it was like, great halves seem like they've got a shitload of time. They generally don't get it until they're about 27, 28. Yep. That's what he said. And I'll believe the greatest of all time. So by that fucking metric, imagine what Nathan's going to be like in 5 years' time.
They're already comparing him in the paper, not comparing him to Joey, but sort of like they were putting up his stats, career stats with Cronk, Joey, Thurston in this sort of thing. And it's like they actually are pretty fucking similar, minus maybe premierships.
For similar age?
Yeah.
Or similar games?
Similar age. Similar age. I think it was similar age and games played. And
what's even crazier, though, is like, I think we forget because Penrith are so dominant. He has truly taken a team of definitely not superstars to now they're superstars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a guy like, you could argue a guy like Cooper Cronk or whatever, had better players around him, future immortals. Joey, the reason why Joey was so brilliant, they had a good side, but it wasn't like they were full of superstars.
No.
But Cleary's doing that. He's taken Penrith, they were fourth, but then they ended up fucking ballooning out to, I didn't even think they made the finals that year, or maybe just limped in, to literally a powerhouse club. And that's not all on the back of Cleary, but as much as it can be on the back of Cleary, it is, you know? And that's what's so impressive about a guy like Cleary is that he hasn't gone into a system that exists and then become great. He's turned a whole system around and made Penrith a genuine powerhouse.
Yeah. I mean, like, he's got some... He does it. Like, they've got good players, but I know what you mean. Like, there's certainly...
Right.
He's the far and away, like,
last
the best
year they
player
didn't have a
in their
single
side.
Australian rep.
Yes, you're right.
And they only had one Origin rep.
But is that sort of...
2 years ago, most people wouldn't have known who the fuck they are.
Is that sometimes symptomatic of clubs on the rise? So, like, a club that's got their junior system right, like, all these guys have played together and stuff. Like, there is a point where you go...
Without Cleary, they just lost 2 in a row. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
Like, without Cleary, that is not a club that turns around.
Yeah.
Like, he's taken a team... Like, Isaiah Yeo was a battler first grader.
With the greatest respect.
But now, he is literally one of the best 13s in the comp.
Yeah.
Jerome Luai, for the first couple of years, was struggling to get into that side. And then he gets his partnership with Cleary, and now he is voted the best 6 in the comp. Fisher Harris was a wide running forward, if I recall correctly, moved in the front rower. He's the best front rower in the comp. I'm not saying it's just Cleary. I'm just saying
I know.
As a part of it.
But with that, with that thought process, and so you say Cleary has done it at Penrith. You could argue Turbo's done it at Manly, at least for this season. But like when you're selecting players for rep sides and you go, okay, well, without their best player in the side, the team sucks. But with them in, they're good. So let's say you're picking the Australian side in a couple of weeks, and Manly's been fucking humming since Tommy's in there. Like, if you're a selector, you kind of going like, well, these guys, like these players, whoever it is who's killing it for Manly, say, are only doing well when they've got this component in their team. Are you better off looking for players that throb in shit sides? Because it's kind of like you're doing well no matter what the circumstances.
Not really. It's all about systems and who pairs each other. That's why it's so good for New South Wales right now because they have like a core of Penrith. That's why Queensland were so good for so long, is they had not as dramatic, but a solid core of Storm. You know, a lot of Queenslanders played for the Storm and vice versa, and it was only natural. Cameron Smith was saying, like, it was only natural because we had Storm players in key positions that we would use Storm players, and it would reflect similar-ish to the way the Storm play. So I know what you mean. Like, if you're playing shit in a good and shit team, is that better? I think it's more about systems. The biggest question is what I wanted to get to is that if Cleary wins a series or continues to play solidly, is he now the Australian half? Your boy DCE, would you say that he loses his Australian 7 role to Cleary? Yes or no?
No.
I would say yes.
Yeah. So you reckon
based on form,
this could be the year?
Got to.
I think so.
Like, if he's killing it, like, it's, you know, it's hard to go against that. And like, Daly's fucking fantastic, but you know, how can you can't argue with it, right? The national side is a merit-based selection, right?
Yeah.
Like how well you're playing.
But then I'm going to complicate it. Boyd Corner's injured, so there's retired, so there's no longer a captain. DCE would have been that perfect person to be a captain. Does that weigh into you pick DCE in the side because he can be captain, or do you?
Well, you don't think Tedesco's ready to be captain?
Oh, he may be, but the captaincy is vacant. You know what I mean? And DCE is a captain of Queensland and has been for a couple of years now. Teddy, he could be captain, maybe not, but I'm just saying that it's vacant.
I think the way that, depending on how DCE manages to sort of perform in the final 2 games, probably goes a long way.
Yep.
Like, he does have runs on the board in that sense.
And also how Manly goes at the back end of the season as well, I would say.
Those things are all... I think those are all things that are factored in.
Like, if Nathan Cleary rips and tears, we win the Shield, and then they win the comp, and he's a massive part of that success. You're like, fucking hell. And if you could argue that DCE would have been the next Australian captain, but I still think that Tedesco would do a job as skipper if you asked him to. It's like you're not short on troops to be skipper.
Also, with the greatest respect to DCE, he's not a legacy player for the Australian side. Like, if it was Cameron Smith's probably too hectic of an example because he's the greatest ever after Joey. But like, you know, if it was someone who's been in their position and for a long period of time, DCE as the Australian halfback, it's not exactly like he has been a mainstay of the side for years.
Yep.
So I still feel like there's an argument where you could be like, his position is still under threat if there's someone else who's just fucking undeniable.
Yep. So you reckon Cleary?
Well, I'm not saying that.
Oh.
I'm saying depending on...
Okay.
But kind of yes.
Okay.
Look, I'd just daily watches.
Who would you say?
I think Cleary is the future because he's 23.
Yeah.
DC, incredible. You know, but just Cleary is undeniable right now.
Yeah.
Truly undeniable. And you've got to start building at some stage. And I think he's ready.
And DC is older, is he? He's like 32.
I just want to show you something. So this is, talk about storm in a teacup. First of all, look at Paul Kent's face. We'll get Maddie to put this up on the screen.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, that is a great... Jesus Christ.
Maddie, make sure you put this up in the podcast.
Play with no heart.
And look at him yelling. Oh my God.
That is... Me too, please, Edward. That seems like just a little over the top for...
So for people listening...
That's not passive.
Yeah, for people listening in the audio version, there's a thumbnail and it's Paul Kent talking about the Tigers, and it's about how they were passive, playing with no heart, and he's literally violently yelling as the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He looks like he's either just stubbed his toe or like someone's trying to make off with his pet.
But James Hooper has come in with a huge story.
Love it.
Huge story. NRL Chief Executive Andrew Abdo personally telephoned ex-NRL referees boss Bernard Sutton with a warning ahead of State of Origin. Step aside from Queensland Maroons or risk your brother, Gerard Sutton, being overlooked for refereeing Game 2. The New South Wales Blues camp was fuming after a photograph of Bernard Sutton, who is the brother, in Queensland wearing a Queensland polo shirt emerged from State of Origin 1. So apparently, James Hooper's scoop is that Sutton's brother was wearing a Queensland shirt and he nearly lost his gig. Thoughts?
Bernard Sutton's brother?
No, Jared Sutton's brother.
Jared Sutton's brother, Bernard,
Yes.
was wearing a Queensland...
Of the Sutton fame, yes.
Of Sutton fame,
Yeah.
wearing a Queensland jersey ahead of Queensland Game 1.
Yes.
And Abdo wants him fired.
Apparently...
So can I ask what I need to clarify this as well? So,
I'm lost as
hold on.
fuck.
Former referee's boss is Bernard,
Yes.
and he was wearing the Queensland jersey.
He was wearing a Queensland polo
T-shirt.
Where's he from?
His brother is still currently a referee.
Yes.
So Abdo's contacted the former referee's boss, who was seen wearing a T-shirt, a polo, and said, "Stop wearing that polo, or your brother isn't refereeing."
Yes. And he said, "This is Cooper speaking."
But Jared Sutton retired.
No, Bernard Sutton has since stood down from his role with Queensland because he said the intriguing backstory has emerged around Sutton's appointment to State of Origin 2, with Abdo telling Bernard Sutton to beware of his association with the Maroons. Sutton has since stood down from his role with Queensland. A perceived conflict of interest forced Abdo to intervene and explain if Bernard Sutton wanted to remain involved with the Maroons, then it placed his brother's appointment as a match official in jeopardy. Intriguingly, the New South Wales Blues have also been utilising the services of referee Gavin Badger, the Badge, sitting in New South Wales coaching box during Origin 1.
Dude, okay, by that metric, Abdo should be calling fucking Kyle Felt's mum, who's still a New South Wales fan, and being like, "Oi, listen, if you don't fucking start wearing a Queensland fucking polo, your son might get dropped from the side."
Because it's a conflict of interest.
It's a conflict of interest.
The ref's brother wore a Queensland shirt and nearly lost his gig because he was biased, apparently.
Is that story 100%?
Well, it's from
Hoops.
Scoops.
Oh, of course, yeah. Scoops Hoops.
James
Scoops
Scoops.
Hoops. Yeah, he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss.
I mean, mate, don't wear a fucking Queensland jersey if you're from Queensland.
That is
Seriously.
outrageous.
That is crazy. But also, like,
would
Game's
people
ability
even
to generate a
fucking
headline.
notice?
No, unless he wrote the story.
It took me about 10 minutes to get through the story, let alone if I
piece
saw
it
him
together.
in people, by person. I wouldn't be like, hang on,
This is a
fucking hell.
perler. This is a classic article that needed to be written, boys.
you're right. No, this was important.
I actually thought the refereeing in game one was good.
It was incredible.
I thought it was
There
unbelievable.
wasn't
It was the best
a
refereeing
card,
I'd seen
there?
this year.
There wasn't a card. It was
It was
fucking.
fantastic. It was fantastic.
So I don't know what the fuck we're on about there.
That was sort of like shades of like Godfathery mobster shit. Like if your brother doesn't, just like I'm just letting you know. I'm just passing a message. You fucking take that shirt off, or your brother's in trouble.
What a nothing story.
It's nothing. Nothing.
NRL warns off ex-referees boss from working with Maroons ahead of Origin 2, even though the Blues have a ref working for them.
Yeah, that's weird. And so was the if I can
And Matty,
ask
make sure
more
you
questions.
put the picture of the article in the.
Yeah, and provide like a Venn diagram, whatever, of how this makes sense. But like
any sense.
how. So was there a resolution? Did Bernard Sutton say, "Sorry, brah, I'll step away"?
No, I think he's conflating the fact that Bernard
Is now not there.
stood down or stepped down, but it probably has nothing to do
Right.
with that.
Okay.
So he's stood down
Maybe
for
just because he didn't
reasons
want to-
unknown.
Or maybe he just he didn't need to
unrelated
be used.
to the Paulo incident.
Yes, but technically he did stand down in this time period. Therefore, I can put those two things in the same sentence without actually saying he did, but implying he did.
Was it a club issue polo? Like was it Origin kit, or was it
Mate.
just like a fan? You know, you pick it up at the servo. Sort of.
Mate, I'm not sure.
Well, that makes a difference.
It does make a
does.
difference. If you're wearing a club polo, surely that biases your whole family and anyone that knows you. But if I wear a Queensland shirt, that means that everyone around
You
me.
better not show up to the fucking game.
No way.
Well, look, I mean, if we were to see you wearing it, we wouldn't be able to do anything with New South Wales, you wouldn't think.
No, that's it. If you roll in here wearing a Queensland top, wear everything that we want to
Put a
do
line through
for
us, Tom.
Yeah, put a line through
You'd
us.
fuck us.
Yeah. All business opportunities down the gurgle.
Down the shitter.
Okay, on to the next
That's Bruin from Scoops Hoops.
Mate, great scoop. That's a great scoop. To
Hell
think
of a
that the referee's brother was wearing a Queensland shirt, being from Queensland, that's a disgrace.
Yeah,
No,
no.
well,
If
it
you
is.
are in any way involved in the officiating of rugby league, your family can show no allegiances, and extended family. I don't know, how many thirds
How
of
far
cousins?
do you
Yeah.
go?
You got to go right back.
Like,
you got to go right back.
Full family tree.
Well, look, I'd be doing the full fucking washout of the family, who they're related to,
Ancestry.com,
how far
do we
they go
get them
back.
on? Everyone's
Well,
gotta spit on a
100%,
fucking
100%,
stick and-
100%. You got to get people spitting on sticks and spitting on them quickly.
And-
But I think we go back. I would have thought at least 12 generations, Tom.
and then out. Back and then out.
Well, 12 a number that covers our ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't want
it does.
bias. We don't want people thinking that
We
it's
need to be
biased.
going back to, people sort of 1500s,
Yeah.
I'm assuming potentially from the UK.
Yeah, before they've come over, before
Yeah.
the first fleet.
Yeah. Pre-First Fleet, that's where I'm looking.
Scrub them from the histories. Anything to do with Queensland, scrub it from the history books.
Well, you can't even watch.
Well, you need to get them back to pre-Queensland, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before
So you think as many generations before they either entered or became a part of Queensland,
That's right.
Scrub it from the history
scrub
books.
them from the history.
Well,
books.
I'd even scrub them.
Okay, now, Jai Arrow has been hospitalised with an infection. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe that is a serious case?
That's a terrifying news. Now, I mean, infection a vague term as well, Eddie. Like, infection could be fucking. He might have a skin irritation, and he might just need some fucking.
It's funny,
panther.
after getting absolutely tailed up, 50-6 or whatever it was, the fact that you're still trying to roll out this shit. It's like, it's lost all its panache,
Yeah.
really, it has. It's like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
It's so weak.
It's so weak. I'm like, I'm not shaking in my boots.
It's lost all flavour, all fucking. It's just stupid.
It's like Coke that's gone flat.
Yeah, it's flat soft drink.
It's all the bubbles are gone, and now it's just lukewarm crap.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, I'm worried for Jai. I hope he pulls through.
I tell you when it lost it was when it was like, dude, Moses and Bai almost died. And it was like, that was as much as I was prepared to take. And then he played the game and I went, nah, no more. This is ridiculous. I've been through this enough.
Team doctor says that Moses was dead for fucking 50 seconds and I brought him back.
I brought him back and he's starting.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's actually like a minute ago, but he's good to go now.
Honestly, I think he's a terribly insensitive.
Died in warm-up.
I think you're insensitive.
Insensitive?
Yeah, I think you are. I'm
Of
scared
Jai's skin irritation?
Jai is still in hospital.
Has Jai got psoriasis? I've had it.
He
It's
may not pull
that bad. You
through.
can play.
He may not pull through. And
Use
here
some
you are
talcum
making
powder,
jokes.
bro. You'll be fine.
That's all right. Wear some
Very
like.
insensitive.
Has he got like just like jock itch? You just need to wear some tights, separate the sack from the legs.
Has Jai gone for a swim and run up the
dry
beach?
properly. Yeah.
Chafe. You got a bit of chafe.
Chafe.
That's
Didn't
what it
dry
is.
properly.
This is a classic
Mate,
chafe incident.
Chafe can get infected and it can be
Sure,
bad.
it can, but I mean that's easily solved with some B-panthen, paw cream. Just something to sort
Talcum
of lather
powder.
it up. Yeah, talcum powder.
I'm surprised at the lack of, I guess, empathy for a bloke that, he may not pull through. And the
Look.
thing that he's sacrificed to be a Queenslander right now, it's inspiring.
Yeah.
How many people have died of chafe?
I don't know if there's any.
Matt, can you please Google how many people die of chafe?
We need to know that.
Annually?
Annually,
please?
yeah, the annual.
Annual chafe deaths,
How many?
please.
And we only want official numbers. So
Yeah,
I don't want any
No, I
bullshit numbers.
want government numbers.
Chafe.com.
Yeah, chafe.com.
I wanna know-
If it doesn't come from .gov.au, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
No,
Chafe.gov. They'll have the numbers.
They'll have them. They're a reputable website. Chafe.com.
Great website, that
Yeah,
though.
no, it is
Yeah.
a good
Very
website.
informative.
Yeah.
Very informative.
It is very informative.
Please actually Google chafe.gov and see if anything comes up.
And see if there's chafe.org for chafe-based charities.
Maybe
we want to donate.
I
That's
tell you
the
what,
least we can do.
if Arrow pulls through this, he may well create a chafe charity.
Yeah,
Dude, so we should.
we could be a chafe advocate. An advocate for chafe.
One of those like black and white videos of like, I had chafe.
I'm a
mate.
sufferer.
I used to suffer chafe.
I'm a chafe survivor.
Yeah. I had a swim and then didn't dry properly and just
And then I
put
ran
jeans
up the
on.
beach chasing a dog.
And my
jeans.
big set of Queensland balls.
Yeah, rubbed against my inner thigh. I'm a survivor of chafe. Chafe.com.
I'd donate. Chafe is a serious issue. No one likes walking around looking
Chafe
like
is a serious
fucking
issue,
cowboy.
but-
Chafe's it's not talked about enough. That's
it's not.
for mine.
No, it's not. It's the elephant in the room.
It is the elephant in the room.
You can buy chafe.org for $1,600 the domain.
1,600.
That's a bit much.
That's a bit steep.
I want it, but I don't know if I want it that bad.
CHAFE.
Yeah, chafe.org.
.org. Fuck, that's a good investment though, isn't it? That's
Something we'd
tough.
buy.
With something we'd definitely buy, and I'm not ruling it out.
Okay, so
Imagine the good we could do. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
People, us
many-
helping people.
days of being uncomfortable with chafe that you could stop. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
actually would generate revenue for the economy as a whole. Like blokes walking around slowly like they've had anal beads in them.
Correct.
Well, that
shows productivity.
It's one of the side effects of a good chafing is it looks like you've been
Yeah,
worked
it looks
over.
like you're just waddling around.
Look,
I'd put if Jai comes through this, which he obviously will.
I mean, the jury's out, mate. Honestly,
The more he does about chafe education, the better, I think.
Send him around to schools.
Yep. Listen, kids, because were you taught at school? Fucked if I was. I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We didn't have people like Jai, of Jai's stature, coming around showing off the red rash, going, listen,
Mate,
if
I
you
was
fucking
posted up in front of a fan with some pawpaw cream. I'm just trying to dry that area out.
going,
It's a
what the
fucking
fuck is
nightmare.
this? What's
is
chafe?
this? No
Have
one's
you been
told me
running
that.
wet?
And he sits on a teacher's desk, covering his gooch, and shows him his
Yeah,
chafe.
check this out. Check this out.
Yeah.
Look
With
what
like
I've
a
got to deal with
projector.
because
Yeah.
I didn't take care of my chafe with pawpaw cream or talcum powder or wear skins. I mean,
Or don't run after exiting water.
Or dry yourself appropriately.
mate, there's a lot in that to unpack. I think.
I'd be prepared to get behind it. Whilst I don't believe that it's going to impact Origin at all, I'd reach out, Jai. We'll support you in whatever way we can. Shed some light.
Has anyone missed Origin due to chafing?
You'd know that if there was a fucking chafe.org site.
I think a lot of men have thought about, packing it in and getting the 18th man involved. 18th man.
Only
it
a
would be-
Queenslander would miss Origin through to
chafe.
due to chafe.
That's the most
Okay.
Queensland thing I've ever heard.
Now, onto Tommy Trbojevic. I put a post up, and obviously you guys are biased towards him, but I put a post up.
No, we're not.
When we talk about the greatest ever, obviously he's not there yet, but when we talk about maybe a one-off game and at fullback, you'd probably look at a guy like Hayne, Greg Inglis. Is Tom Trbojevic in a one-off game the best fullback to ever play the game? In a one-off game, not in a career. We're not talking about that. In a one-off game, what do you think?
Yes. I think he certainly could be. I think that without being like pro-Manly, just saying, pro-Manly shit, right? Like the things he's doing this year are the equal of any player in his position that I've ever seen.
What is he? 6'4",
6'4",
6'5", 6'8", 7 foot, 100 kilos. He bumped over Tino in Origin.
I know, that's crazy.
Do you know what I mean? Like
In the first set, both of them ready to rip.
if you take his Origin, like the last 3 games, and just if you took the best 3 games anyone's ever played and went off that alone, you'd probably say he's the best.
Yeah. If you picked 3 of the best games ever from him, and then you pick 3 of the best games of like Inglis or Hayne, it would be comparable at least.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, how many tries has he scored in the last 3 games? Like,
Mate,
He did it so easy against the
what is it? 3 tries on the weekend, 3 line break assists.
I'll tell you-
3 try
his
assists.
stats from the weekend
These
were
are his
fucked.
stats for 2021. He has played 8 games. He has 11 tries, 13 line breaks, 15 try assists, averaging 205 metres and 40 tackle breaks
Jesus
in
Christ.
8 games. So he is not only averaging more tries, he's averaging more line breaks and also more try assists. And he's also probably in the top 5 for metres run.
And is he? Where is he in try assists? Is he the number 1 for try assists?
No, I think he would be probably, I mean, I can get that up. You just keep...
Yeah. Well, like the thing is, he's doing shit that it's not like. I mean, you wouldn't say that it's things that no one's ever seen. He's doing, as you said, the equal. Like no one ever saw anyone like in the vein of form of Hayne or Benny Barber maybe in 2012. But like he's got that. It's that crazy fucking year. Like you think of last year when the Dally M was won by Jack White and
He's equal top try assists. Oh
There
my
you go.
God. in
Equal
8
top
games.
try assists.
There's been 15 games, so he's nearly played half the amount. And he's equal top try assists with Cody Walker, who is a fucking freak.
that stat alone for me is
Cody
like,
Walker, Tommy T, Nico Hines, Nathan Cleary, Jerome Lloyd. Nico
Nico doing
Hines
all right.
at
Yeah,
third's
he's doing
doing
it.
fucking well as well.
Matter of fact, Nico Hines right now is the best bang for buck player in the NRL.
Yeah,
Period.
definitely.
Bar none. He would be on maybe 1 to 2 to maximum 250.
yeah, Tommy's
maximum.
on big bickies.
So Nico Hines right now, he's playing like an 800k player.
Yeah.
Or a 6 to
Well,
800.
he's surrounded by some very well-paid players for sure, mate. Like at the end of the day, he's the best player in the game at the moment.
Yes. These conversations have to start at some point in someone's career. Obviously, Tommy's young as fuck, and form can be fleeting.
Imagine if he was never injured.
I know, it's
Imagine
crazy.
if he was never injured.
It's his only it's his only letdown.
Holy fuck! Could you imagine if he'd just been
Right
playing the
now-
last 4
right
years,
now-
all of them? You'd be like,
He's
He'd-
still only
he'd be the
24,
go-to.
dude, so he's still fucking got time. But like, obviously, you touch wood for injuries, but like, if he doesn't get injured, and he continues this sort of form, like the way he's playing, you just are seeing other players have no fucking idea what to do. When he scored his third try against the Titans, where it was literally just Lachlan Croker just took it from dummy half, went left, turned, obviously Tommy fucking coming back on the inside where Croker's come from. It's like, surely that's where every defense is looking, right? Because it's Tommy fucking Turbo, and he just looks back, gives it to him. He's running at small plays, but it's like no one is able to cater for the fact that he's doing whatever the fuck he wants and just scoring whenever he wants.
And he ran the play before and didn't get the ball, so they were aware he was around the ruck. Now, another question then. So I think that, he's in the conversation now for the greatest form we've ever seen. There's 09 Hayne and there's 2012 Ben Barber. I think that if you guys get to the prelim to the finals, now Ben Barber and Hayne took them to the finals, the grand finals, but I think that he's in that discussion now, and we could be seeing the greatest form we've ever seen, ever. And also, is he the nicest superstar the game has ever seen? Nicest superstar the game has ever seen.
Well, he's never said a bad word about anyone, so that's a good place to start.
He's also the only player to ever fine himself. So, and it was like got done for running and went, you know what, not only am I going to find myself, I'm not going to drink for the rest of the season. I'm going to get off social media.
He's off the piss, he's off social media, he's got his head down, he's working hard. Like, it's incredible. If he does all that he's doing now at the pointy end, September, then, like, fucking hell, mate. I might just black out. I might lose it altogether. Because September's where you need to do it. You know what I mean? It's all well and done. It's all well and good doing it around the Origin period or in Origin. Like, that's fine. But September is where it needs to be done.
He does it wherever he has to do it. He does it in Origin.
But we haven't seen him do it deep into September.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's the only thing we haven't seen. We haven't seen Business End Tommy yet.
Dude,
Business End Tommy may be a motherfucker. Yeah. He might go, oh, hang on. You thought regular season Tommy was good. Business time Tommy.
If he rocks up in a suit, it's game over.
Dude, BTT, business time Tommy.
Could you imagine if he played in a tie?
That could be nice.
That's
cufflinks?
Two things.
Slacks?
That's two things swinging. It might take his balance off a bit.
Nah, dude. He's got perfect balance. That thing's like a tail.
Okay.
They've done tests. He's got the best balance of any man or woman all time.
Yeah.
In the history of mankind.
Humans. And it rivals some great cats because they use their tail for balance as well.
That's incredible. Yeah. That is actually incredible.
You can drop him from centre point tower. He'll land on his feet and walk off. He lands on his feet.
So top 3 nicest superstars of all time.
He's number 1.
He's number 1.
You know what? It's probably him, his brother, and his brother.
Burbo. Turbo.
Who else would it
Turbo.
be?
Fuck, that's
maybe Petro gets a run, but 4th.
Yeah, Petro's 4th. With the greatest respect to Petro.
Now, on to news. It's said that Townsend is linked to the Warriors for the remainder of the season. Do you think this is good or bad for the Warriors?
I mean, you know what? It couldn't hurt. They've lost Chanel for the season, and Chad's played there before. They're fucking in Australia anyway, so it's not like it's a big deal. And why not? I mean, if it's
Is he out for season, Chanel?
Yeah. If Chad's like, fuck, I'm playing, in New South Wales Cup and just sort of doing fuck all.
Well, and then he's going next year. He's going up north, so fuck it.
So you think it's a good call?
Yeah, I reckon.
You couldn't hurt, right? Like, why not? Why the fuck not?
If they need a half, which apparently they do.
They looked like shit against the Knights. I mean,
mature old head. I think it makes sense.
I actually think it's probably a good thing for both parties. Yeah. Really, they were really good when he was there. They actually played really well. And also on to Hunt McCullough. Would you play Hunt at 9 or would you play McCullough at 9?
I would have thought you would have played Hunt.
I think Hunt is in better form. I think Hunt has been there, done it. But Hunt is probably a better 14, would you say?
Well, I think that the recipe was there. We had Jake Friend last year that just got through the shit work. McCullough can do that. And we get Hunt on to play like a 13, you know what I mean? And then obviously play a bit of hooker. So I actually think it's smart. I think we should have gone from that from the start. But we decided to let Reed Meaney play on the weekend.
Is that one of the great bed shits all time?
Yeah, it's a big bed shit.
Yeah, it is.
Massive bed shit. We should never have let our backup hooker play that weekend, especially when he was named. And
has Paul Green put his hand up and gone, I need to own that?
I'm not sure, because you could make the argument, well, Api Coruscant went out and played, and so Brad Fittler did it as well.
Yeah, but did he play? I don't think Api played.
Yeah, he made 51 tackles, didn't miss any.
Wait, so when? Before Origin?
No.
After Origin.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, apologies. You're totally right.
Played before.
Yeah, okay. Well, yes, absolutely bed shit.
Yeah, bed shit.
Massive bed shit. It's in a key position. And
Reed played on the Sunday.
But some people have been criticised Paul Green's coaching tactics in Origin. Where do you sit on that one?
Well, I think that the reality is when he got picked as coach for 2 years or 3 years, you could argue, not argue, was a fact. The Cowboys are at the bottom of the table. Like that's just a
13th,
fact.
14th, 15th or something.
Yeah. So although Paul Green absolute runs on the board, brought the Cowboys their first premiership, was in a grand final 2017, the argument could be made that he is struggling to adjust to the last 5 years of footy and maybe even struggling to adjust to the new rule changes.
Yeah.
Because you look at Brad Fittler's game plan, it was literally run hard, tackle hard. There was barely any out the back shit. Most of it was literally like throw a cutout pass to Latrell or Tommy and they'll do what they do. Mm-hmm. Whereas you looked at Queensland when we got in good ball, it was a lot of like wraparounds and short balls, and New South Wales were like, okay, we'll just get up and slide. So the jury is out. It's like Kevy Walters, the jury's out. Is he going to be a long-term NRL coach? Trent Barrett, is he going to be, the jury's out. Paul Green, is he going to be long-term Maroons coach? He's got an incredible record, a fantastic resume, and done so much in the game. But we need to see game 2. Is he going to adjust to the new style of footy? Because we haven't seen him put on a game plan that has worked in any new, you know what I mean? In the new style of footy.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see how he goes. And it is interesting. Do you feel that, let's say they lose the series and we get absolutely pumped, would you keep Paul Green there?
Fuck no. But I mean, I just like seeing Queenslanders turn on their coach after one game.
I think you've got to give him another year.
I think it's great.
No,
I think
it's
it's
perfect.
fucking terrific.
It's very Queensland. Fuck Paul Green. I
It
heard
is.
that. That's what I heard.
It
there.
is. Has McCullough played Origin?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. It's his 14th NRL season and he's getting the call back.
Is there any jobs for the boys with Paul Green keeping Kyle Feld?
It is very interesting.
Very jobs
Francis
for the
Morlow.
boys.
Francis Moller, Hess is like 18th or 19th man.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I mean, it shows you that he thinks that he can trust them, you know.
Can you trust Kyle?
I can trust Kyle. I like Kyle. I can trust Kyle.
Can you trust him?
I can trust Kyle.
Okay.
But can you trust him with the shield?
Can you trust him?
Oh, absolutely. Anyone that puts on that Queensland
His mum's
jersey.
a New South Welshman.
Anyone that puts on the Queensland jersey,
Is that an
I
alarm
trust
bells?
with my life.
Surely that's alarm bells.
I trust with my life.
When Mama felt going for New South Wales.
I mean, I think Harry Grant's dad was a New South Welshman, if I recall correctly.
You lost game 1.
And we fucking tailed you up last year. We're Sutton 40 years.
Look, I don't know how many times I need to remind you, Denon, that the COVID year didn't count. It was at the end of the season, and no one gave a shit.
Okay. On to
Everyone's just trying to stay alive, Dennis.
Exactly. Very insensitive.
Look, it was a great win. Okay, now
Disgraceful.
Disgraceful.
It was
We
also
may
in
have
summer, which is like when we watch Test cricket.
cricket
so
was on.
I don't know. Cricket was on.
100 degrees.
I was watching cricket. What were you doing? Fucking
Laughing at COVID.
okay, so
Being
we may
insensitive.
have a bit of pie on our face. Is that even the same? Egg on our face.
Yeah.
Pie on our face.
You can have pie on your face.
You can have pie on your face.
I had a pie today. It was delicious.
Was it?
Did you get some on
What
your
kind
face?
of meat?
Mate, yep. Meat with tomato sauce.
That's all you need.
That's all you
basics. That's a missionary of pies.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Well, look.
Potato top pies when you start going. Oh,
Sometimes I'll toss it up and I'll go the cheese and bacon. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay really
Ben
vanilla
Ikin
today.
vibes.
I'm gonna Ben Ikin this fucking pie up, and it was unbelievable.
Look,
and I didn't regret it.
No.
I have heard the potato top be referred to as the anal beads of meat pies.
If you're having a potato top pie, that's 8 beads.
Potato top pie, also known as the shepherd's pie.
Well, I believe it's known as a shepherd's pie if the larger
If
the
it's
pie
bigger,
goes. Yeah, I
well,
think it's bigger.
what sort of radius need to go above?
I'm thinking if we're I mean maybe like a 12 centimeters across.
Are we talking anal or are we talking
Well,
pies
no,
here?
pies.
Well,
here,
when does it shift? He's saying that a
Potato
small
top
pie is a
into-
potato top, but I'm saying is that just a mini shepherd? And he's going, well,
I think what's the shepherd. There's a bit more different in the
peas in
content.
the shepherd.
No, that's a potato and pea pie, I think. But I think in the shepherd there's something else. Like there's some sort of like red sauce, I believe, in the shepherd's
Yeah.
pie. Whereas you just go a stock standard pie, potato on top.
Yep.
That's anal bead city.
Yep.
So we minimum eight anal beads if you do eat that kind of pie.
Yeah.
Well, look, if you walk into a shopping centre like I did today, and you walk past the bakery and you decide on the potato top pie, I think that you're pretty comfortable popping
Throwing
a
a
couple
couple of
in when you
beads
go
up there.
shopping. But that wasn't me today.
You're the Ben Ikin. You asked for a Ben Ikin.
You
They
asked
gave
for
you
a Ben Ikin.
I said, "Can I have a Benny?" She said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "A Benny Ikin." She said, "No idea." I go, "I'll get the plane."
But we may have a bit of pie, egg, whatever you want to say, on our faces. Hannay, the coach of the Sharks are looking great. What do you guys think?
You've got pie on your face.
Yeah.
I was fucking all over Hannay at the start of the season.
We were pro Josh.
We said, look, he's probably the most underutilized coach maybe of all time. His record speaks for itself. I don't think he chalked up a win, but that's not what we were looking at.
That's
They're not the metrics we use.
No.
Yeah, okay. All right, fair enough.
Kenny Boy boys.
Look,
Yes or no?
He was buoying boys left, right, and centre, and he was not afraid to make the tough decision, which was to fuck boys off as well.
Yeah.
well, I don't think he actually made that call.
Well, he wasn't.
He might have.
He wasn't playing them.
He wasn't playing them.
As in, like, that's his decision to drop Chad, to drop Dukes,
Oh,
to
okay.
drop
Apologies. I thought you meant like
They've won
fuck
4 in a
them all.
row.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, I'm with you.
They've got the second longest win
bullish.
streak in the game right now.
I'm bullish on Hannay.
Second longest win streak in the game.
I'm bullish on Hannay. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, that's what I'm saying. I feel like we've got to be
You're
the egg
pro-Josh,
or pie.
yeah.
I'm
Egg-
pro
egg
Josh
and
now.
pie.
Egg and pie, maybe an egg pie.
An egg pie.
That's
Yeah,
what we've
an
got in
egg
our
pie.
face. I'm just, and also you've got Sean Johnson and Aaron Woods who have been told we don't want you next year, and they have come out professional as anything and done the job. Like, I think the respect the Sharks need for turning their season, like, it was looking pretty bad there for a bit.
Well, it was looking like a line through it, really. Like they turned up the first week that John Morris got sacked and they had a crack, but they lost. And then after that, it was just fucking the wheels fell off. It was a complete disaster. It was poo.
But like, they're playing without Wade Graham.
But it's been good footy lately. And I think Josh is to thank.
I mean, he is. I'm pro Josh.
I'll be on the blower to Fitzgibbon.
Going, sorry, bruh.
Oh, you reckon?
Sorry, bruh. Changed my mind.
Sorry, bro.
I mean,
Backflip.
look, it's a possibility. So you think the Sharks are potentially going to backflip on the Fitzgibbon deal?
We'd
for
be
Hannay?
calling for it. That's what we're saying. Our word's not theirs, but fuck.
We said Hannay was the man to sign all along.
Yeah. The proof is in the pie,
the proof's in the pie.
It was on your face.
which is hundreds.
So you feel that the real victim in all this, that Hannay's been overlooked rather than, like, Morris is a victim, but the real victim's Hannay. He's the guy that's turned it around.
Everyone's just looking at Hannah going, oh, yeah, this guy wouldn't know a PowerPoint to save his life. He's just a fucking interim coach. Just disrespect left, right, and centre. He comes in, fucking fucks everyone off, and then just does what he wants. And now look at him.
Well, look, they're on a 4-win win streak. They've got Wade Graham out for the last 2 games, essentially, because he knocked out Fafita, Dukes, Townsend, all in reserve grade or injured. And then you've got Sean Johnson and Aaron Woods who have been told they're, you know what I mean? They're going to go on.
Not Josh's call.
Yes, not Josh's call. It's actually pretty incredible that they're going to make the 8 most likely.
So are they in the 8 currently?
They're in the 8
They're in the
currently.
8.
Jesus.
I think they're 7th.
That's good for everyone
not 7th
who's
or 8th.
above them
Yep.
because you know you're going to get an easy win early on, with the greatest respect. But
Mate, the Sharks I've been on the last couple of weeks and reaping the rewards, so to speak. But look, Josh hard done by. And imagine being known as like an interim coach.
Yeah.
When clearly he's got more going for him than that, you know?
Absolutely.
Yep.
He's proven it. He's proven it. Now, we will talk about the... we'll go to a quick review of the games because obviously we didn't get your review of the games. You only got Finchie's review of the games. What did you think of the weekend? Actually, I'll get your thoughts. I put the post up. You may or may not have seen it. Look, I was a huge fan of the rule change. I think we all were. And I'm just kind of feeling, do you think long term it is good for the game to have the rule changes be so dramatic because there's so many blowouts and now you can pretty much only guarantee there's going to be 1 or 2 teams to win the comp? Penrith or Melbourne. What are your now that we've got, so for example, the stats of this, I think there's 51 games that have been 40 plus or more. In 2019, it was 10 games that there was.
fuck, what's that? So in 2000 and when?
So 31 games. Sorry, so 31 games were 40 plus and more.
Yeah.
Whereas in 2019, there were 10 games that were 40 plus and more. It's the first time since 2002, barring years where teams had points docked, where there is 2 teams in the top 8 that have lost more games than they've won. So the stats are backing up the fact that the divide is increasing.
Humongous.
And we're seeing these massive blowouts. What do you think? Do you think that this new style is the way to go, or it is maybe going a little bit too far?
I would say that I like the open flowing nature of the game. I prefer it to the wrestle, generally speaking, but also like I like tight games of rugby league, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
The blowouts are concerning. What I sort of think to myself is it just a case of, because it's been such a short turnaround, the elite teams with the elite players have adjusted quickly and you've seen fucking massive blowouts. But is that a trend that will continue? We'll have to wait and see. Like if things start to slow down a bit and tighten up a little bit, then I don't really have a problem with it. But if this is like run of the mill, the top 4 sides fucking pound the bottom 4, the bottom 12 sides week in, week out, then I think you start
asking questions.
Do
we need another year, like another preseason? Because obviously some of it changed.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, some of it changed.
I think we need time.
You need a bit more time, but like it's significant blowouts this year. Like
it's crazy. Like to think that the Titans completed at 100% for 79 minutes and had a 24-8 lead and got fucking dosed 50 whatever to.
Can I tell you this? When it was 24-8, was not bothered. Wasn't. I was
cool as a cucumber.
I hate to say this, but I also thought Manly's going to come back here because Titans have a tendency to.
Yeah, but also Manly didn't have any first half ball.
But that's what I'm saying. The issue is like these huge swings of possession. I don't think it's healthy.
Because then the teams end up giving away just set repeat after set repeat after set repeat after set repeat. Yeah, I understand that.
And so one toss up in the comments was, do we make the attacking side that scores the try kick off to the defending side? Therefore, that breaks it up and gives them a chance to.
I don't hate that.
I don't hate it either.
That's not the worst idea of all time. That's actually pretty good. The thing is, where we get into problem with these massive fucking blowouts like Panthers 38-12 is the free-flowing nature of the game now with a yellow card or with a sin bin just completely fucks the game. That's like in isolation, these two rule changes have a big effect, but if you combine them, it can have a massive effect.
Absolutely.
Probably wasn't the best time to bring in. Well, I know obviously I understand that. I'm just saying, like, if you were thinking about when to bring in two massive rule changing ideas, it probably wouldn't be at the same time.
Not even to speak to the players. Yeah. Like, and Vlandy's admitted he didn't, speak to the players.
Well, he owned up to that, so I respect it. But but then you look at the other side of the coin. So the Knights and the Warriors, who you'd say they're bottom 8 sides,
comfortably.
Even though the Knights could play in the top 8, they play a lot of bottom 8 footy. 10-6.
Yeah, but the conditions were fucking completely
Dragons Raiders 22-20.
Yes, that was.
You don't see as many blowouts at the bottom end.
But no, statistically, there's massive blowouts. Like, as in, there's more. There's I think 31. You know what I mean? Like, so.
But I'm saying,
the losers don't score that many points, I think, is what he's saying.
Oh, so you're saying like.
Basically, I'm saying bottom 8 sides play bottom 8 footy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And top 8, or maybe even top 4 sides pump everyone else.
So Cowboys Sharks 24-26.
So you're saying the concern then is it's not actually about the rule changes. It's just about the fact that the best sides are so much fucking better. That may be the problem.
Or maybe the best sides have adapted to it better. Yeah.
For now, I'm saying that they find a way to exploit the weaknesses of shit teams.
Like if you're 24-8 up against Manly and Manly you lose fucking whatever it was, should have been 70 if Ruben was kicking.
56-24.
I genuinely wasn't nervous either.
No,
that's what's fucking scary about it.
But that's surely, you can't put that down to the rules. Like, you guys don't like to defend.
Well, they didn't touch a ball for a whole. They had like
it was 85-15 second half possession at one point. I was like, that is fucking.
That's the problem. If you go into a game,
and they were completing.
Completion rate doesn't give you the. We all know completion rate doesn't give you a result. Absolutely not.
No.
But it used to at least put you in the game.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas if you can go like 40 minutes with barely any, I think it was like 6 or 7 sets they had at one stage, like deep into the. That's concerning. You know what I mean? These huge, and even Manly, it's concerning that Manly had 24 put on them when they're clearly the better side. They just didn't have the ball.
Are these rules in New South Wales Cup and Queensland Cup?
I'm not sure.
If they are, I'd be interested to see
what the scores are.
There, and if the blowouts occur, and if there are blowouts, I'd be throwing that flip the kick restart thing and see if that makes.
I don't
know.
No, I'm with you.
I'd be trialing all these fucking things down.
I don't know why
Queensland Cup and New South Wales Cup.
We used to do it in the 20s
instead of New South Wales.
We used to
like Captain's Call. That was all Queensland Cup, New South Wales Cup.
Yep. No, I agree. We used to do that all in 20s. So no, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. It's interesting. It's interesting if like they hold their nerve long enough to really test. Breaking news: the NRL has placed the Stars back in the COVID bubble after a COVID outbreak in Sydney. I mean, wow.
Apparently Queensland's not going to let the players in.
Yeah, right. Well,
Imagine
that's the only way you fucking win. You have to play against no one.
Yeah, and try and beg for a forfeit.
Yeah,
they forfeit. We should get the win.
The height of the protocols mean players will not be permitted.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. I mean, all players who go to Sydney going back to level 3 protocols. What were level 3? It means only players can leave the house for training or exercise or food. Fucking hell.
Yep.
There are 20 cases in my neck of the woods. But I mean,
disgusting, honestly.
You are disgusting.
You are an absolute
Hand,
rub.
foot, and mouth, COVID. Fuck it.
mate,
Pull it together.
I think that most of them are
They're all in-house.
They're
all
like family contacts and shit.
Okay,
like they're
but
not
you're still disgusting.
Thank you.
Does this affect the preparation at all? The mental fortitude of?
Nope.
No,
Not at all?
No. Not a bit. This
Mate,
is,
they're going up to Kingscliff. Beautiful part of the world for the training camp.
You know what though? New South Wales
Gorgeous.
have real problems. You guys are like, Jairo's got chafe. We're like, we're fucking fighting off COVID down here.
But I think, mate, honestly, I think a camp in Kingscliff's just what the doctor ordered for the boys. They'll be frothing. They'll walk over the border up to Brisbane, foaming at the mouth for a W.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Now, not breaking news, but has been a little bit in the news lately. Nick Meaney basically has been offered or allegedly, reportedly offered by the Storm to replace a guy like Nico Hines. I think this is, if you're Nick Meaney.
If you're Nick Meaney, you should already have left.
Yep. Yes.
You should already have left.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still got to move his whole family to Melbourne.
Fuck
it's still
that, dude. You do it.
But like, he may not play first grade. That's another thing. You know what I mean? Like, he may go down there and be stuck in reserve grade because Nico Hines technically should be playing reserve grade right now.
Well, he was off the bench though.
Only because of his incredible form. You know what I mean? If Meaney, it's no guarantee that Meaney's going to go down there and mimic that.
But surely, right, if you're Nick Meaney, who, is still a fringe first grader at the Dogs. Is it the Dogs?
Yes, he's at the Dogs.
Yeah, he's a fringe first grader at the Dogs. So, like, why don't you be a fringe
He plays most games.
But they're buying, like, fucking... They've got Naden coming. They've got Burton coming. They're probably going to get Sean Johnson. They got Josh Adokar. Like, there's every chance that he doesn't get a fucking start there next year.
Yep.
And also, I'd be looking at Melbourne going, well, Pappenhausen was unwanted, and now look at him.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be
Nico
going.
Hines was fucking unwanted, and now look at him. I want some of that Kool-Aid, baby.
Yep.
Yeah. Also...
I want some of that magic water.
I don't know what the
There's something
property
down there.
situation is, but it's probably cheaper than fucking Sydney.
Wouldn't be more expensive, Tom.
No.
It wouldn't be more
There's
expensive.
a lot of outbreaks down there, though.
For now.
Yeah, they haven't got a hold of COVID, but
Look, we'll have the population vaccinated in 5-10 years, and we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
That's generous.
Yeah.
Well, we're rolling this
That's
out.
why I said 10.
So you think absolute shoe-in, he should absolutely sign?
I think so, yeah.
100%.
You mate, fuck. That system is only good for a player like me.
If my manager hit me up and was like, yeah, Bellamy's interested, I'd be like, try play it cool, but I'll literally leave today.
You know what's crazy is he said, my manager's a bit crook at the moment, so he's in hospital. So the process has been paused for a little bit. What's wrong with his manager?
Because I'd be going, listen, dude, I'll change
Chafe.
managers.
Chafe.
Mate,
I tell you
Severe
what,
chafe.
Severe chafe.
getting
His manager got
everyone.
chafe. You don't want to lose a spot to chafe at the Storm. Imagine if they signed someone else and, you didn't have the charity that Jairo built to help blokes like his manager to help his chafe.
Imagine that. You didn't go down to Melbourne because your manager got chafe and didn't answer the phone.
Didn't answer the phone.
And then
moves
Bellamy
on.
thinks that you're fucking taking the piss and moves on. And you could have become the next Nico Hines.
Yeah. Chafe.org, $1,600.
But he could be a good advocate for chafe.org saying, I literally lost the
I
opportunity.
lost
of
everything
Chafe.
off from like
I lost
second-hand
everything
chafe.
because of chafe. Second-hand chafe sometimes worse than first-hand
Yeah,
chafe.
it can be. And third-hand chafe even really powerful.
Yeah.
Which is like when you know someone that had chafe. But
Kind
not
of like,
directly.
well,
Not directly, but-
who should write a story about it?
Oh, absolutely. This bloke
Yeah, yeah.
suffering third-hand chafe.
He's suffering third-hand chafe and he may not be able to play this weekend because his mate of a mate has chafe.
Has chafe. And their house, they live together. And,
Yeah, he's chafe infected.
Hasn't been
That's
able to sleep.
That's a scoop. That's a scoop for hoops.
Yeah, that's a scoop.
All
Scoop
right.
hoops.
Final predictions, boys. Final predictions.
50-0.
Final prediction.
50-0.
50-0. I think we go. Let's go with that. 50 plus. New South Wales 50 plus.
Oh, fuck. I'm wearing the shirt every day to channel, because that's what we need. We need Munster to
Yeah, you do need Munster
to really
Do
turn
we
it
have a
up.
bet on this game again? Is it just another blue wig? Do you want to do something else? Do we dye your
we've gotta
fucking
bet
head? Do you want to
something.
dye your
We're
eyebrows
not
blue?
going dramatic.
Dye your eyebrows blue
No.
then.
We can
Shave your eyebrows off.
We can do
Eyebrow bet.
Eyebrow bet. A brow
no
bet.
eyebrow bet. There's no eyebrow bet.
How long do brows take to grow back?
A little while,
Could you
dude.
imagine?
Brows are slow.
Are brows slow?
Brows are slow to come back. I shaved my brow once when I was fucking in like
Young and
year
dumb
7
and
or 8.
full of...
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Like
just
your
trying to-
whole eyebrow, or you
I
slitted
think it was like, you know, when you'd fuck with your mates, shave an eyebrow off.
All
I think
right.
I got half a brow.
Predictions.
New South
50
Wales
nil?
50 plus.
50
Okay,
50 plus.
I'm going 30-20 Queensland.
Fuck off.
And are we are we betting or not?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
What do you want to bet?
We'll just go the wig again, I guess.
Well, I mean,
Wig and jersey?
If we can't come up with a better one just between us in between now and then,
Yep.
then we'll just do the wig. But if we can, then it'll become like
You have to do the
it's
whole-
going to be evident as soon as the show starts next week who lost. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like,
All right, sweet. Make sure to grab a
You have
bounce.
to do the whole episode in a New South Wales mouth guard.
Oh, fuck. All right. Make sure to grab a bounced out tracksuit on pre-sale. They are looking sharp. Very sharp episode. And all down to the hoodie. I'm
Yeah.
glad I got one. Thanks for sending one to me. Really
we're
appreciate it.
getting some for you. They're
Oh,
coming.
okay.
You know,
Did you just order two from fucking wherever you?
Well, these were
Samples.
these are samples.
So you
to
only
make
got two
sure that-
samples?
Yeah, yeah.
We nailed them.
We nailed them. They worked.
Yeah, I mean, you could have at least like a third sample would have been appreciated.
Well, it would have been good, but I don't know that we would. We'd want to make sure that you're getting the primo shit.
No,
you know,
I don't need
top
the
of
primo.
pops. No,
I
but
just
you're a
need-
primo guy.
No, I'm not a primo guy.
You are a primo guy.
This is a free shirt. Like, I'm not a primo
We
guy.
want-
This is our brand on this. We can't give you just
we
nothing.
can't just give you, you know.
Got to give you the best stuff.
Look, I'm just going off the punters and dribblers hat. Probably took about 6 months to get to my
You
hand.
didn't even wear it.
Yeah, you've never worn it.
You refused to
I've
wear
never
it.
even seen you in it. I've never. Or this one. We gave you one of those as well.
Because I was so hurt.
We've given you both, and you've never worn them.
Never
Why
seen
would I
you
wear
wear-
one when it takes 6 months to get to me?
That
And
one
I'm
didn't.
seeing-
Bullshit.
That
No,
one
it
was
didn't.
seen in person.
And I'm seeing all of these footy players in a day after you announce it, and me, it took me 6 months to get it.
I've never seen him wear any hat.
Exactly.
ours,
That's
ever.
my point.
Ruben Garrick
hats.
never takes his off.
Yeah.
He's
Ruben
fucking gorgeous.
constantly
Obviously, he
photographs
gets
the
his
punters and dribblers
first
hat.
because he
Well,
puts his ass
thoughts
out
on
there.
Ruben Garrick's kicking on the weekend.
Unbelievable.
It was good. It was good.
Unbelievable.
was
Sometimes
just-
you got to miss 4 or 5 to make a couple.
He was making a game of it. Manly were playing with their food.
Yeah.
It's just like fuck it.
Yeah.
I tell you what, as a hot boy to trot, the amount of airtime you get as a goal kicker, it really does boost your value up as a
Oh
hot boy.
yeah. Yeah. He's hot as
He
fuck.
got a lot of airtime.
He was in the
even
paper. He was in the paper in a punters and dribblers hat.
He was.
As
I
one
saw
of the top
that.
5 hottest
Oh,
players.
I've seen
in the
that
game.
actually. Yeah, great yarn. That.
Yeah, great yarn.
They're not doing anything that we do or anything like that.
No.
Great
Men's,
yarn.
women's weekly. They've
Yeah.
just come for our content.
Yeah, we haven't done anything about hot boys or anything
No.
like that.
Shouldn't surprise you. Mate. Shouldn't surprise
Okay, so
you.
make sure to grab a tracksuit, guys. Grab a case of Bloke in a bar for the huge game. Grab a Bloke hat. As usual, I'll go and fuck myself. Thank you.